Healthcare often reacts after a condition has become visible, costly, or dangerous. MediSyncD Predictive Care was created to explore a better sequence, bring improved information together, recognize meaningful patterns earlier, explain why a concern was raised, and help licensed professionals decide what should happen next. It is a full-stack healthcare technology foundation developed by MediSyncD Technologies, LLC. The current release is designed for synthetic demonstrations, workflow validation, and carefully governed clinical development, not independent diagnosis or autonomous treatment. A single blood pressure, laboratory result, message, or wearable reading rarely tells the entire story. Risk can emerge through change over time, a rising glucose trend, worsening mobility, repeated missed follow-up, declining activity, increasing respiratory symptoms, or several small abnormalities appearing together. When information remains separated, the pattern may be difficult to see. The physician and care team workspace brings relevant synthetic patient information into one organized view. A timeline can display changes in vital signs, laboratory values, medication history, appointments, symptoms, and approved device data. Risk panels identify which areas require review. Every assessment should show the information used, the data it was generated, the model or rule version, and whether a licensed user reviewed it. The purpose is not to replace the chart. It is to make emerging patterns easier to inspect. The long-term architecture can support information from electronic health records, laboratory systems, approved wearables, blood pressure monitors, glucose devices, care management platforms, and patient-reported updates. Connection does not mean unrestricted collection. Every source requires technical validation, patient or organizational authority, minimum necessary access, provenance, quality checks, and a defined purpose. Missing, delayed, duplicated, or incorrectly mapped data must remain visible because a prediction cannot be more trustworthy than the information beneath it. The assessment pipeline begins by identifying the source and validating the incoming record. Values are checked for format, units, reasonable range, duplication, freshness, and completeness. Approved features are then calculated from the available information. Only after those controls does the demonstration assessment generate a result. The application records the inputs, version, time, and explanation so the result can be reproduced and reviewed. Invalid or insufficient information should lead to a clear limitation, not a confident guess. A useful predictive result must explain itself. MediSyncD Predictive Care is designed to show the estimated risk category, uncertainty, the strongest contributing factors, relevant trends, and the limitations of the assessment. A clinician might see that increasing glucose values, reduced activity, age, and family history contributed to a demonstration diabetes risk result, while stable weight or recent improvement reduced concern. Explanation does not prove clinical validity, but it gives the reviewer a transparent basis for questioning the result. No consequential assessment should silently become a diagnosis, order, medication change, or patient instruction. The reviewer must examine the source information, decide whether the result is relevant, and document the next step. The system can support accept, reject, defer, request more information, and escalate for specialist review workflows. It can preserve who reviewed the assessment and when. Human review is not a decorative button. It is the control that keeps professional judgment and accountability inside the workflow. The product vision includes care planning support that can organize possible follow-up actions, evidence references, monitoring needs, referral considerations, and questions for the clinician. It may help compare options against allergies, current medications, medical history, and patient preferences. The current foundation does not authorize autonomous treatment planning. Any future treatment recommendation function requires validated clinical knowledge, human factors testing, medical governance, regulatory review, and explicit licensed professional approval before it can influence real care. Patients should not receive an unexplained risk score that creates fear without context. The patient-facing experience is designed around plain language summaries, approved education, follow-up reminders, data access rights, and clear instructions about when to contact a healthcare professional or emergency service. Information sharing with caregivers requires permission and appropriate access. A clinician or governed program determines which assessment information is suitable for release and how it should be explained. Dominique 2.0 can serve as the conversational assistance layer. She can explain where information came from, summarize an assessment for review, prepare a meeting brief, remind the clinician that an item remains unresolved, or translate complex interface language into understandable terms. She must not independently diagnose, prescribe, approve a plan, or hide uncertainty. Her role is to reduce cognitive clutter and help authorized users understand and complete the work that remains theirs. The Source Complete Store candidate includes an encrypted local vault, operating system key protection, backup, recovery, migration, registration, pending approval, role controls, use selected PIN management, session revocation, and optional authenticator multi-factor authentication. Production deployment still requires approved hosting, access controls, retention rules, key management, monitoring, incident response, and business associate agreements where applicable. Security is a continuous operating program, not a claim created by adding encryption to one database. The platform includes a tamper-evident audit foundation and signed license architecture. Important events can record the actor, time, record, action, assessment version, and outcome. Auditability helps reconstruct what occurred, but it does not make the underlying model or decision automatically correct. Organizations still need monitoring, separation of duties, retention, expert controls, independent review, and procedures for responding to suspicious activity or damaged integrity. Version 1.0 includes full desktop, web, and mobile source architecture. The package contains native Windows, Mac OS, and Linux packaging definitions, generated Android and iOS projects, a hardened Electron runtime, and an authenticated local application programming interface. These are release foundations, not proof of public store approval. Code signing, notarization, partner identities, production hosting, mobile review, and store certification remain owner-controlled external gates. The store candidate includes automated quality gates, continuous integration and deployment foundations, CodeQL, Dependabot, a software bill of materials, checksums, release approval templates, a threat model, incident response, disaster recovery, accessibility and supply chain plans, a model card, data sheet, quality management documents, and clinical validation gates. Local validation included forwarding unit tests in a full integration workflow. Those results confirm software behavior inside the tested environment. They do not establish clinical effectiveness or regulatory authorization. A responsible predictive care program begins by defining the exact intended use, users, population, decision, and consequences. The team must establish representative data, reliable outcomes, comparison standards, calibration, sensitivity, specificity, subgroup performance, bias monitoring, usability, and failure procedures. Independent clinical, privacy, security, legal, ethical, and regulatory reviewers must evaluate the function. Until those gates are complete, the application should use synthetic records and demonstration assessments only. The current version is a Source Complete Store candidate with external publishing and clinical gates remaining. It is not FDA cleared or approved. It is not authorized to diagnose disease, choose treatment, modify medication, or replace a physician. It should not be connected to real patient data or used for clinical reliance until the required infrastructure, agreements, privacy program, independent testing, validation, governance, insurance, operational support, and regulatory determination are complete. Honest boundaries are part of responsible innovation. MediSyncD Predictive Care is created by MediSyncD Technologies, LLC. Jason Allen Henderson is founder and chief executive officer. Dominique Danielle Henderson is co-founder and founding inspiration. The mission is to develop explainable technology that helps healthcare move from fragmented reaction toward informed prevention without removing consent, professional judgment, accountability, or human compassion. MediSyncD Predictive Care. Connected information, explainable insight, human-reviewed action.